This UCSD TV program is presented by University of California Television. Like what you learn? Visit our website or follow us on Facebook and Twitter to keep up with the latest programs. Also, make sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube original channel, UCTV Prime, available only on YouTube.
Gabe Kahane came to my attention through his father, Jeffrey Kahane, who's a dear friend and a regular at SummerFest and a great pianist and conductor. But once I started hearing Gabe's songs, and the more I thought about how that would be so interesting to be a part of the overall repertoire of the SummerFest, because we don't usually come upon contemporary songwriters. You know, I mean, we have song cycles that are in the pipeline, you know, by both John Harbison and Howard Shore. But I suspect those songs will be more serious in a way, I mean, quote unquote serious. But whereas Gabe's songs tend to be very hip, but yet, you know, sort of pop-ish, but very unique in his own sound. And also he uses a string quartet to back him up in a very clever, really unique way, and it's beautiful. I find them very appealing and very easy to relate to because the matters are not mundane, and yet they're kind of slightly surreal, you know. I like this Gabe Kahane songs a lot.
Should we try a little bit?
Yeah, why don't we try playing a little bit?
I came to being a composer through being a songwriter and through my songs capturing the interest and attention of some people in the classical music world who suggested that I give a shot at writing art music. And I think one of my preoccupations since I began writing songs, and having grown up in a classical music household, was really that the line separating the German 19th century art song tradition and the folk song tradition of the 1960s or 1970s is really not. There's not much of a gulf there. Bernstein used to say that the songs of Lennon and McCartney are really as harmonically and melodically rich as the best Schubert songs, and I think very often he's right.
I look forward to the telephone ringing. It is not you. You are in the kitchen trying to figure out the coffee maker.
This particular piece, Come On All You Ghosts, is really an attempt to write, I guess, sophisticated pop songs accompanied by string quartet.
If you now have to go down
And so the harmonic language and the rhythmic language is relatively out there by the standards of pop music. But it's still sort of anchored, the way that I sing them is in a kind of vernacular, vibrato-free, folk kind of voice, as opposed to, bel canto vocal production. The way that this piece came about was that it was to be performed last summer at the Bravo Vale Chamber Music Festival amidst a bunch of my pop songs with a large band with bass and drums and so on and so forth. And so I wanted to find a way to write a piece that would sit in this concert of pop music and on the one hand provide something that was sort of a counterpoint to the pop music, but also wouldn't be so far afield that it felt like it came from another event. The festival had initially just asked for a short song cycle without instrumentation specified, with the understanding that I would sing it. And when I learned that the Calder were going to be in residence, I had been sort of circulating in their orbit for some time. and knowing that they could play a Mozart string quartet and then turn on a dime and go play with a rock band like Airborne Toxic Event or The National, I knew that they would be able to handle any kind of stylistic challenges that I threw their way.
Son of a vicar and a lake. We could not find the energy.
You know, one of the big challenges moving between pop music, vernacular music, and concert music is that the relationship to rhythm is fundamentally different. And which is not to say that classical musicians have bad time, but rather that time is more fluid in classical music. The idea of rubato, speeding up, slowing down, is really built into the DNA of almost all Western classical music, up to American minimalism, at which point the idea of rigidity of tempo becomes a value. Whereas in pop music, the idea of groove is really, really essential. And so working with a group like Calder, who are able to move back and forth between those kinds of mediums, is very comforting to me because they understand how to approach groove in that sense. The question of, is it pop, is it classical, I always come back to Duke Ellington's famous statement, there's two kinds of music, good music and the other kind. And I think we're very much living in a time, particularly with the iPod, which is either a symptom of or perhaps the cause of the way in which we don't really distinguish between genre. We can go from listening to a Jay-Z song or an Amy Winehouse song to listening to a movement of a Beethoven string quartet if we've got our iPod on shuffle. And I think many people who've grown up in my generation really don't distinguish. And I don't mean that in a sort of polemical way. Of course, there are differences and huge aesthetic gulfs, but in terms of what moves us or what compels us to make music, it comes really from such a broad variety of influences and sounds. So I try not to be too preoccupied with the question of is it this or is it that, but rather to bring in all of the sounds that I find exciting and moving and bring in all of the ideas, literary, spiritual, philosophical, otherwise, and sort of re-express those musically, and whatever the language comes out being, so it is.
Something seems to be waiting for me. This Diet Coke is really good. Oh, come to think of it, it tastes like nothing. Plus the idea of chocolate, or an acquaintance of chocolate, speaking fondly of certain times it and chocolate had spoken of nothing. Wondrous sandwich of ham and rustic chamber cheese, yet still wished for a piece of chocolate before the long walk back through the corn, then the darkening forest, to the disappointing village, to the super creepy bed and breakfast. With secret despair, I return to the city. Something seemed to be waiting for me. Maybe the chosen guide Wordsworth wrote. He would, even were it nothing better than a wandering cloud, have thought. Which of course to me and everyone sounds amazing. All I follow is my own desire. Sometimes to feel, sometimes to be at least a little more than intermittently at ease with being loved. I am never at ease. Now without words I can read or walk. And look at the brightly colored houses filled with lights. Not with night when I lay on my back and listen. Not with the hallway. Definitely not with baseball. Definitely not with time. Poor Coleridge. Son of a vicar and a lake, could not find the energy no pleasant joy, no cheerful confidence. Just love of friends and the wind taking his air away. Come to the edge beckons softly. Take this cup full of darkness and stay as long as you want, and maybe a little longer. like a field of calves. in the sun. My heart is wired directly to the power source of mediocre songs. I am trying to catch a ray of sunlight in my mouth. I look forward to showing you my new furniture. I look forward to the telephone ringing. It is not you. You are in the kitchen trying to figure out the coffee maker. You are pouring out the contents of your backpack. I wonder if you now have golden fur. I wonder if your arsenal of kind remarks is empty. I remember when I met you. You were wearing a gray dress that was also blue, not unlike the water plus the sky. They say it's difficult to put a leash on a hummingbird. So let us be no longer the actuary of each other. Let us bow no longer our heads to the tyranny of numbers. Hurry off the plane with your rhinestone-covered bag full of magazines that check on the downfall of the stars. I will be waiting for you at the bottom of the moving stairs. Today in El Paso, all the planes are asleep on the runway. The world is in a delay. The world is in a delay. All the political consultants drinking whiskey keep their heads down, lifting them only to look at the beautiful scarred waitress who wears typewriter keys as a necklace. They jingle as she brings them drinks. They jingle as she brings them drinks. Outside the giant plate glass windows, the planes are completely covered in snow. It piles up on the wings. It piles up on the wings. I feel like a mountain of cell phone chargers, each of the various faiths of our various fathers keeps us only partly protected. I don't want to talk on the phone to an angel. I don't want to talk on the phone to an angel. I don't want go to sleep, I am already dreaming of coffee, of ancient generals, of the faces of statues, each of which has the eternal expression of one of my feelings. I examine my feelings without feeling anything. I ride my blue bike on the edge of the desert. I am president of this glass of water. I don't want to talk on the phone to an angel. I don't want to talk on the phone to an angel. I don't want to talk on the phone to an angel. I don't want to talk on the phone to an angel. I don't want to talk on the phone. 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 I don't want don't. It tastes like nothing, plus the idea of chocolate, or an acquaintance of chocolate, speaking fondly of certain times it and chocolate had spoken of nothing. Most wondrous sandwich of ham and rustic chamber cheese, yet still wished for a piece of chocolate before the long walk back through the corn, then the darkening forest, to the disappointing village, to the super creepy bed and breakfast. With secret despair I return to the city,